Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Before we start the video, I want to introduce myself. My name is Farid Alfariski. I'm a college student. So today I'm going to talk about sociolinguistics, especially vernacular language, standard language, and word Englishes. So let's get into the video. Okay, so the first is vernacular language. Vernacular language is a language that we use usually on daily life, like when we talk to our parents or our friends. And this language is kind of informal language because we talk to peoples we find on the street, and we talk with them. We usually use this vernacular language or daily daily life. And vernacular language, also known as low language, and this language could identify the identity of the speaker. Okay, next is standard language. Standard language, also known as high language. So, vernacular language known as slow language, right? So, the difference is vernacular language called low language because the vernacular used almost every time when we speak, because it's used in daily life, not like standard language. It's called high language because the language barely used in real life situation. Only when we meet the governance, or when we speak or do speech in forum. This standard language, it's more formal, and standard language also have rules of grammar, how to use it. Okay, now I'm going to explain about word English. In word English, there are three layers: inner language, outer language, and expanding language. And first, I'm going to explain about inner language. Inner language is a language like for a native speaker, English native speaker, like American, British, or Australian. They speak the language as their first language or mother tongue. And next, outer language. Outer language is a second language, like Singapore. In Singapore, people use Melayu as their first language, and their second language, their officially second language, is English. Also, like in Malaysia. And the third layer is expanding language. Expanding language is a language, English language, as a foreign language, like in Indonesia. In Indonesia, we know that the first language is local language, and the second language is Bahasa Indonesia as our lingua franca. Okay, and English in Indonesia, it will be a foreign language, known as a foreign language. So, in expanding, the people or the person who's use English as a foreign language, they usually have dialect. The dialect, and in the dialect, how they are pronounced, and the word they use, the vocabulary. And in dialect, there's also known to categorize of dialect. Like there's a regional dialect and social dialect. But today I'm only going to explain about regional dialect. Okay, so next is regional dialect. In regional dialect, there's two categories, right? The first is international dialect. International dialect is like a native speaker, but they have a little different than the other country, like in United States and in Britain or Scotland. They use English, but they have a dialect in the way they speak, the pronounce, how they pronounce, and the vocabulary they use. It's a little different. When you hear American native speaker, when they speak, they have no accent. They speak like just use English. But when you speak with like British people, they have accent. They use English, but they have an accent. It's just different in pronunciation. But there's also a different in vocabulary, but you still can understand. Even the dialect is different, but you still can understand what they're saying. Okay, the last is intranational dialect or continental variation. Even in the same country, there also could be a dialect from from one area to the another area. So like in Britain, people in Britain, they have some dialect, like they have Cockney, they have Yorkshire and Northern Irish. There's some different in the pronounce, like in Yorkshire, when they wanna say like nasty, they gonna say nasty. And if in Northern Irish, when they want to say Northern Irish, in their accent, they will say it Northern Irish. Northern Irish, they will say Northern Irish. That's the difference. So the intranational dialect or continental variation, when in one country, there's have some variation dialect.